everyone, welcome to Dadi SOS.
Study on Spotlight.
Hi, this is Belinda.
I'm Royce, and today we have a very special guest here that is from CATS, and this is Raymond.
Hello, my name is Raymond, and I'm from CATS Global Schools. Yeah.
So today we are going to explore studying in high school in UK with Raymond together. Raymond, can you talk about the schools that CATS have?
CATS Global School actually is a brand of 7 schools consisting of 6 schools in the UK, including 1 art schools as well, which is called the Cambridge School of Visual and Performing Arts. So altogether, we've got 6 traditional boarding schools and 1 art schools.
So I think there's a lot of campuses around, CATS. I think maybe for anyone that's not too familiar with it, do you mind just maybe go through maybe a bit of history, if you have any for CATS, just to let people know a bit more about CATS in general? So are you guys a high school, a college? What do you guys do? Everything like that. Do you mean just get a bit of pieces? That's okay.
Yeah, sure. So as I said, CATS, we have 6 boarding schools. So the boarding schools are located in different cities in the UK. So for example, we have a school in London, we have 1 in Cambridge, we have 1 in Canterbury, we've got 1 in Bournemouth, and then we have 1 in Bosworth. And the final school that we have is in Wales, which is one of our top boarding schools. It's called St. Michael's Schools. So, and then we have the art school, which is also in Cambridge, but that school is actually a separate entity compared to the CATS Cambridge School.
Right.
So they are all boarding schools, meaning our students, they come to us at a very young age. So some of our schools, we have prep schools, so they can come to us as young as 2 to 3 years old. And then we also do the normal international students that we get would be the students that are coming to us either for GCSEs, or they will come to us for A-levels or foundation. Usually the age range would be between 15 and a half to 16. Yeah, so quite young. So, but don't worry, because our school, we are professional in handling and looking after students. So we are kind of like the legal guardian of the students because they are coming us at below the age of 18. So They need a guardian in the UK.
Right.
So we have been around for more than 100 years.
Yep.
In the UK. So some of our schools, especially like Worthgate, Canterbury, is the school that actually started the foundation program. So now you hear everywhere, schools or universities will do foundation programs before their university, right? So this foundation program was started by us actually in Canterbury in Worthgate School. So we are very proud to say that we are the one that actually pioneered these foundation programs that you can see everywhere now. That people are doing it. So yeah, so if you want to come to a school that actually started the foundation program, then CATS Global School is the school for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. As you mentioned, there's a lot of, you guys are very experienced handling students, I'm from all around the world.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit about yourself. Are you based here in Malaysia, or do you travel a lot as well?
Yeah, so I came back. Actually, I was based in the UK for a few years before I came back to Malaysia. So I do understand the kind of feelings of students, especially overseas students going to study in the UK. So because I have the first-hand experience, right? So and you empathize with the students when you talk to them. You understand. So you understand their nervousness, for example, the culture shock and everything. So I started CATS in 2019. So about 4.5 to 5 years now.
Wow, there we go.
So I'm based
That's
in
very long.
I'm based in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and I do travel around Southeast Asia, but my main responsibility would be Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I do travel around Malaysia. Like last week, I just came back from Kuching.
Okay.
I look after Singapore
as well.
As well. Brunei. And also the largest market is Indonesia.
Wow, so Indonesia is your largest market.
Yes.
Compare with Malaysia.
So in terms of student population, yes, Indonesia is bigger than Malaysia. But in terms of the numbers that are coming to us, I think it really depends. So Indonesians, they always ask for like scholarships. They want like full scholarships and things like that. So a lot of them, they like to shop around and go for the best offer. Yeah. So for us, because our school is, I have to admit that our school is a very premium school because we do look after students really, really well. And also our accommodation, our support system, the whole from start to finish is there. So, so far, touch wood, I haven't got any complaints from students or parents. So which means we are doing a really good job. And our students do progress to some of the top ranking universities as well. So on that level, we obviously we charge a little bit higher than the other boarding schools, but we also make sure that students get the best experience from us as well. So for Malaysia, I think Malaysia is one of our biggest market for Malaysia, but I think Malaysia, there is a lot of competitions locally because we have the local UK universities, we have the local universities.
Everyone's expanding, everyone's expanding everywhere.
So the pie is getting smaller and smaller.
That is definitely a concern for sure. But because you guys are quite, I guess would be, correct to say you're higher end, a bit more of, in sort of that tier of, schools. How do you attract those students then? In that case, if it's not scholarship, is it the quality of teaching? The quality of teaching, the pastoral support that we give, and also the location. I think a lot of people, they like us based on our location. For example, like Cambridge. Everybody knows Cambridge because of the university. Of course.
And then Canterbury has been voted one of the safest city in the UK. So a lot of Malaysian parents, they like to send their children to Canterbury as well. And then we've got places like Northampton for Bosworth Independent School. We've got Bournemouth, which is amazing, just by the coast. You can walk to the beach in less than like 2 minutes. So it's a very, very nice location. Our school, we do attract students based on the location, based on the support that we give to them. Just through word of mouth, like students, they will talk to other students and say, CATS is amazing in terms of the support and the progression.
Definitely one of the better forms of, marketing.
Yes, free marketing.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
So we do thrive on those kind of, word of mouth support that we get.
That's right.
As there's so much of location, like within all the locations that CATS have, right? And then you're also staying in UK quite few years. Which campus would be your favorite actually?
Ooh, okay, that's a tough question.
You have to conclude the experience, the weather, the pricing, something of that.
Just personal opinion, of course. No correct answer. I'm sure everywhere is great. But personally,
your favorite not means that the best one.
The best one for the student. So
if you're a student again, where would you choose?
I think my personal favorite is London. I love London. I think because London, you got so many things to do. You won't get bored. And our school, Guildhall School in London, is located right in the heart of London in Zone 1 next to the British Museum. So you cannot get any better than that. So, some schools, they are in Zone 6 or outside London on the outskirts. Ours is right in the center. So you can walk to Chinatown within 5 minutes. You can go to Oxford Street. You can go to, all these museums and art galleries. All these train stations that allow you to travel around the UK. You can take the fast train to France, to Paris if you want. So it's very, very convenient. But I can understand the parents' nervousness because sometimes London is a big city. They don't want their young children to go there.
There's a lot going on.
It
can be very distracting sometimes, very exciting.
Correct.
It's very festive. A lot of things are going on. It's very fun.
So
it's understandable. But I'm sure, the experience itself, it's definitely very, eye-opening. You can definitely settle in very quickly, I hope, as well. Because there's so many things going on.
So, for example, just to give you an example, we started our Cambridge School of Visual and Performing Arts in Cambridge, but we decided to open a branch in London. So even though it's called Cambridge School of Visual and Performing Arts, but you can actually study some of the courses in London. So that is how amazing London, because London is just like the melting pot of arts, of cultures, of education, everything, So especially our London school, we're very strong in business, especially things like people who wants to go to study investment banking, financial trading, accounting, those kind of courses. It's good. Our London school is very strong in that because we are very close to the city of London where, the business hub is. We have a Bloomberg Business Lab in our London school. So meaning students who wants to study the Bloomberg software terminals and to prepare themselves to go into like banking and finance, they can actually do that whilst they are doing their A-levels and foundation.
Right.
Usually this course is taught in the first year of a university level.
It's more university
Yes,
sort of
correct.
like feature they have,
Yeah.
like a room, I guess,
Yes.
where they will teach it. But getting that very early on, definitely advantageous for those students. Just getting familiar with it, even that is a great head start.
Yeah,
heading
so
to-
exactly. So we give the student that good head start so that when they go to university, they can skip that module if they like, or they can go on to a higher module compared to their peers or their classmates, for example. Yeah, so that is the attractiveness. So my personal favorite is London. Yes.
I see.
I see. It's very convenient to access the local UK life, can be said like this,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And within, just to add to that, is within our London school, we are surrounded by some of the top UK universities.
Of course.
So you got UCL, Imperial, LSE, King's. They're all within 5 minutes walking distance. So majority of our students will, tend to end up in these schools, if they do well. They usually what they do is that they will visit the schools because it's only within walking distance. They will go and have a look and make sure that they like the school, and things like that. So we do have some partnerships with some of the universities as well. So we do have support systems with the universities where our students can go and visit them. They can shadow the year one students, for example, and observe them and see whether they like the programs, they like the school and things like that.
That's great. I think it's very motivational when your goal is right next to you.
Yes.
You can see it. You just need to work hard and you'll get there, I'm sure. And I think it's great you guys do, I guess network and work with universities in that area to really just really show them kind of more options out there, just kind of what is possible. I think that's very important is to make sure that they have a choice to choose kind of where they want to end up, trying things out and make a decision later on.
Yeah, amazing time. Yes, yeah.
Great.
Then, because under CATS, right, you have traditional high school and also colleges, right? And then for like just now, the service you mentioned, like help students to like advise them for their universities. Does this also accessible for the traditional school students?
Correct. Yes. So the support that we give is not differentiated. For example, like if you go to a traditional boarding school or you go to an international boarding school. So just to go back, because you mentioned the point about the traditional boarding school, so I just wanted to highlight that we have both types of boarding schools. So we have 3 boarding schools which are more what we call international boarding schools. So that means it's very relaxed. You don't have to wear school uniform. There are more international students. So if you feel like you want to go somewhere where, it's your first time in the UK, you might feel that you will get homesick or culture shock, or you're a bit shy, you don't want to mix with the British kids, right? Then you would end up in the British boarding school, the international boarding school, sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So
it's easier to settle in. You have
Yes.
peers that is similar to you, circumstances that coming in first time potentially.
yeah, and you may meet somebody from your home country, for example, and things like that. Yeah. So those are the 3 ones that I would recommend when I talk to students. So I really see what their kind of preference is. And then we have on the other flip side is the 3 traditional British boarding schools. So those are the ones that you have to wear the school uniform.
Right.
There are more British students because we have day boarding as well. So the younger students, like the prep students, the secondary students, they usually come to school and then they go back home. So if you want the experience of mixing with British students, to get that, then you would choose the traditional British boarding schools.
Right.
So those are the ones that I would recommend to students if, for example, they are already studying in an international school in Malaysia, for example, right? So they are more kind of open mindset. They have a lot of international friends and things like that. So I would recommend them to them. Yeah, so really depends. But to answer your question, the support that we give, regardless of which school you go into, the support is always there. The 24/7 support, the pastoral, the university higher education advice, the visiting to different universities, the clubs and societies, those kind of extracurricular activities that we emphasize a lot on to make sure that students really not just about studying, but also they have a life outside the classroom.
Of course, a good balance, a good environment, a healthy environment always goes a long way, not just studying.
Correct, yes.
I guess just going on from there, maybe from your experience, because I'm sure you met a lot of students all around, is there any particular campus that has, I guess, the most Malaysian students, you would say? Or maybe Malaysian students tend to pick? Is there a particular reason why they do that? Is there anything you can share based on that as well?
From my experience, so every year we also do like a fam trip. We call it the fam trip, whereby we invite some agents from different countries to come, and then I get their feedback based on that as well. So the first one is that parents tend to choose the most cost-effective place. So London is always out of the question because London is the most expensive.
It's very fun.
Yeah, it's
very fun, but it is a cost to it.
Yes, yeah. And then the other one is that they want somewhere where it's safe for their children as well. So for some reason, they feel London is not so much. They do like Cambridge. So Cambridge is our second option for parents and students. But the first one I would say would be Worthgate in Canterbury.
Okay.
So Canterbury is only 1 hour from London on the south. It's very close to London, but it's like I said just now, it's the safest city in the UK. So, and it's home to, I think, 3 universities there. And some of the best boarding schools are just within walking distance. So you've got people like the King's College, which is there, and then you've got Seven Oaks. So those are the top boarding schools, which is located near our school. So it's a very kind of environment where you want to send your children to because of that, environment where top students go. So, and also, as I said, amongst all our school, that is the cheapest in terms of the tuition fees.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Is it because of the environment or just because this... When you say cheap, is it tuition or the living expense?
I think the tuition is the cheapest. The living expense is comparable to places like Bournemouth, for example.
Right.
But that one is a little bit further from London, so you can't really compare. But within the M25, within London and all that, I think, Worthgate, Canterbury is one of the top options for parents. Yeah.
I see.
So that is the good one that we feel that is always, and agents, when they go on fam trip, they always like the school. And just to add to that point, Dr. Ian Gross, which is our headmaster at Worthgate School, he actually taught, he was the headmaster in Kota Kinabalu International School for many years.
Wow.
So he just went back to the UK, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken. So he's very pro-Malaysian students. He loved Malaysian students. He will always, welcome them with open arms. I'm very close to him as well as the registry, Alison King. Alison King is just an amazing staff to have. She will, go out all the way to help students to make sure that they feel comfortable. I can just pick up the phone and call her if I've got any issues with students. Yeah. So in that sense, it's not just sending your kids there and then worrying about whether they will fit and things like that. It's also having that support that that me based in KL, that you can always call me because we are in the same time zone. But also, knowing that I have a very good relationship with the school, for example, that is also something I hope that parents, they can be safe to.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think, definitely the biggest worry is obviously when you choose a school, or have to worry about all those things. And when you do send your children over, are they going to be okay?
Yes.
Because they are by themselves. Well, not really, but they are themselves. But they don't really realize. Maybe they do, but still worried about all the support they have. That we do a lot of also like post-enrollment sort of follow-up and support. Make sure they're okay. Make sure all the academically they're doing okay. Attendance, emotional well-being, all those things. Just to make sure that they are settled in well, especially that first year. I think getting over that hurdle takes some time, and I think luckily a lot of students, especially when they're younger age as well, when they do go over that, they make friends easier. They talk easier.
I agree.
Especially when you go to like an international sort of setting, everyone's kind of the same situation, they can relate. And if they have, I assume, very good English already, and they can mix with the local kids as well, they can really get into the community, and that gives another experience about seeing a different culture, and that makes things more fun, exciting.
Yeah.
You very easily worry less about like the things that you initially worry about, like will I make friends or that. They come very naturally, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people like you guys, the team from the staff and also from school staff as well, they're always on the lookout. Everyone's quite easy to talk to. They know about the situation. So yeah, it's very it's something they need to know after they send the children over. But the support is there, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes.
So do you think in terms of, I guess, the age range to send student over, I think for maybe Belinda, you can also chime in as well. I think for Malaysia, the market itself, there's more maybe higher education sort of people going overseas. It's not, the majority is not like maybe a high school or like the secondary sort of year level as well. I think they might prefer to get the certificate first year and then move on to higher ed. But I think maybe from your sort of perspective, do you think maybe students should go at a younger age? Is it maybe easier to establish there? Or maybe is there anything that you can also give us your advice on, or maybe to students and parents about what's the best age to go maybe to start off to go overseas?
Yeah. So I think you're right. As I mentioned earlier, I think in Malaysia we have a lot of opportunities for students to stay if they do not want to go abroad.
Right.
So you've got like the local tailors, the Sunway, and then you've got the UK universities that are offering foundation, like
Which is all very good options.
yeah.
And then we also have a lot of international school here.
Correct. Yeah. So we do have a lot of options for students to choose. So sometimes I think students can be a little bit pampered. They're like, oh, my mom and dad is here. I've got a driver. I've got a maid.
It's fair. It's fair. I would love to be spoiled when I was a child, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, that is one of the things that we try to change. The students' mindset is like, okay, I think it's good opportunity for you to go if you can afford it. If your parents are willing to spend the money on you to go abroad, I think you should take up the opportunity, because not many people get that opportunity, right?
Right.
So I think I agree with you on the first point that higher education will be a bigger market for Malaysia, right, compared to the pre-U programs.
Yeah. Higher education actually in Malaysia now actually is very normal.
Yes.
But for high school, not really, because we do receive like inquiries, like parents talk about at least my children have SPM certificate.
Yes.
Like just remain a Malaysian certificate in case anything happens.
Yeah. So I think I agree. For the Malaysian, they would finish the SPM and then get the certificate. So they can still come to us after the SPM to do like A levels or foundation.
Yep.
But even that level, the pre-U, the A levels and foundation, right? I think students and parents still prefer to stay locally if they can, because they can save more and then use that money that they save to go to spend on university. Yeah. So, but my advice, obviously, that is not my target audience, right? I would prefer if the students go after their SPM or O level, because they, like I said, they get a very good wholesome experience at a young age. Because when you are that young, you tend to absorb more. You're like a sponge, right? You want to make friends. You want to learn about different cultures.
It's definitely easier.
Yeah,
I'm sure even the level of even entry is a lot easier as well.
Correct.
It's just a smoother transition, I would say, about from going from one country to another at a younger age, and to even I guess settle in and know about different culture as well. It just makes things a bit more seamless, I think.
Yes.
In general.
Yeah. So just to add to that as well, we do summer programs. So we have summer programs in June, July, August every year. And the summer programs that we do are for students at the age of 14, starting from 14. So for example, I would encourage, students who are looking to go study abroad, they come to us for the summer, because the summer programs are usually 1 week to 2 weeks long. So it's very short, but you get that experience because you are staying in the boarding, you are meeting international friends, you are experiencing the life in the UK and everything. So sometimes, I will tell like agents and say, maybe you can promote this to your students. They then can make a decision for themselves whether they want to go overseas after their SPM or they want to stay locally.
Right.
So that 1 to 2 weeks is a good experience for them.
It's like a taste tester sort of thing.
Yeah.
You can really just try it out. So what do you do in the activities during those 2 weeks? Is it classes or do you go out a lot more?
So the summer programs are specific to certain subjects. So for example, we have medicine prep summer programs for 1 week. So you will come and study like 9 to 5 about biology or about how to prep yourself to become a doctor. What are the
So it's quite specific. I
yeah,
guess,
very
right?
specific. But we also do things like Bloomberg business prep courses. We do different target. So like for example, fashion. We have a 1 week course in introduction to fashion, for example, or introduction to graphics and illustration, or portfolio preparation classes. We have a lot of different classes.
Right.
So students can pick and choose what class they want, and then they can come for it. Then in the evening, usually we will have activities for students to do. So it's not, because they are 14, right? You can't really
It's
keep
not all
them.
classes.
Yeah, it's not all.
They get bored. They get tired.
Yeah, so you should incorporate some fun into that. So in the evenings we have like movie nights, we have camping, and we go to bowling, or sometimes we go to visit other cities and things like that. So it's really fun for that 1 week. Like students will not get bored. They do really enjoy that. So majority of the students that we get for the summer programs, they end up coming back to us. So that is a good way to kind of,
Good introduction.
Yes.
Definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, in that case, I guess going back to maybe a typical maybe student that is going over to any of the, I guess, school, campuses of CATS, what's a typical day like for a student, I guess, in a boarding school? What time do they go to class? What time do they finish class? And what activities they do afterwards, maybe even on the weekends? Do you think you can share a bit of that as well?
Yeah, sure. So in a typical boarding, the classes will be Monday to Friday. So students are expected to get up quite early. I would say maybe about 7 a.m. And then they will have their breakfast. So they have their breakfast in the school. So the good thing about our boarding school is that the accommodation to the teaching building is always within less than 5 minutes walk.
Right.
Yeah. So that means they will wake up and then they leave their room and then they will go to the canteen and have breakfast with all their classmates and schoolmates. And then after that, they will start their lesson, usually around 8 or 8:45. They will have their first lesson. Sometimes what we do is that we will have what we call a PT time, which is the personal tutor time. So every student will have to meet with their personal tutor every day. Right? So this personal tutor is like their mother or father in the UK. So for example, like if Belinda, you have issues with your friends, or you are feeling homesick, or you don't feel like you fit in, or you got any issues with your lessons, that's when you need to talk to your personal tutor. So the personal tutor will be kind of like your counselor, your listening ear, your, whatever you want to call it.
Right. So it's not just academic. It's basically anything you have questions or issues on, you can share with them.
Yeah.
And let them know.
So if you need additional support on your class, like a certain lesson that you're not following and things like that, then you need to voice out and let your personal tutor know, so that person can assist you and tell you. So that is kind of like a general rule that we have that for all our students. And then they will start their lesson, and then they have a break, a short break about 10, and then they have their lunch about 1, and then they have another 1 or 2 classes in the afternoon, and then they will finish usually about 3 p.m. And that's when they do their extracurricular activities.
Right.
So the activities are amazing. We have a lot of activities. So you could do like sports, for example, if you play any sports. Or you could do the clubs and societies, for example. So if you want to become, like an engineer, then you might join the science club or the engineering club. And so we have a lot of activities, and we try to encourage our students to do a minimum of 2 activities per week. Yeah, so this is not just to keep them like healthy and active, but it really helps them as well when they apply to universities, because some of the universities, they do ask students, for example, like, what have you done? And then you can say, I joined some of the leadership activities. Right. I was, a captain of the basketball team and things. So that really actually helps you in terms of your application as well.
Really does build up your, I guess, skill sets.
Profile,
Yes.
something.
Profiles.
I I talk to the students, always I say like profile, because a lot of students, they actually ask for full scholarships, something like this. But I say, for full scholarship, right, university does not only look at your academic result, they also look overall like your activities you have joined, your achievement, something like this. You have to build your profile nicely, then the admission team then will consider for that lah.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Because I mean, let's say if you are one of the top like Cambridge universities, right, you get thousands and thousands of applications. So how do you then decide which students do you take? Because let's say if you have thousands of students and they all score A star, right? So that's when you start looking at their extracurricular activities. Okay, this student is active, he's the captain of this club and things like that. So that is really important.
Right, it's not just academic. You have to be a very well-rounded student to offer more, I guess. How do you stand out in your portfolio, right? Just getting good marks is probably the bare minimum nowadays, especially to a lot of the top universities. They expect you have good marks, but what else do you bring? What else? Specialties, any special hobbies that you excel at, those things are a bit more exciting things. I'm sure it's what they're looking for.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm sure the school also helped them sort of build that as well. That you guys let them know, before they enter, like try or begin that process of going into universities. You let them know about like how to build up your portfolio, about your skill sets and all of that to make sure whatever goal they have, they have a better chance of achieving that, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that is kind of the part of the support that I mentioned earlier. So we have different person looking after the students from a different angle. So for example, like you've got the house boarding teacher or the person that looks after students in the boarding school, for example, if they got any issues with their accommodation. And then you got another person who looks after the welfare of the students in terms of like if they need any educational support. For example, if they are dyslexic or those kind of things, we have. And then we got another person who looks after the student in terms of applying to universities. They will sit down with the students and tell them, okay, these are the group of universities that you need to apply to. These are the top ranking ones, and based on your results, I think you should go. So, we have different people in the schools that offer different support. Yeah.
The school also connect with the parents, because like Malaysia, we have like Parents' Day, something like this, right?
Yes.
So does how school like keep contact with parents to update their children's status?
Yeah. So on the application form, usually when you fill up the form, you would tick the box whether you want the school to contact the parents, because we have parents sometimes where they don't speak English, for example, right? And it's very hard for them to go. So they will take the box for the agent. So that means the school everything will contact to the agent, but I will always be in the loop in the sense that I would know what's happening. They will always copy me into the email. So, but I think in more serious circumstances, for example, where the student is ill or they injured themselves or they got into a fight or any disciplinary issues, then we would obviously let the parents know.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and just to add to that is that we also have a very strict policy, because we are a boarding school, so we are the legal guardian of the students, right? So if there's any issues with the students, right, then we will speak to the student. But if there's bad issues, things like smoking, fighting, those kind of things, then we would actually have a 5-stage disciplinary action.
Okay.
So we
Five stage.
Yeah. So we give them 5 chances to improve themselves.
Oh, I see. So you go down the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once they get into the stage 5, then they will be expelled from the school if they don't improve. So usually, like I've seen a lot of emails coming through to my inbox. For example, like the school will write to the parents and copy me in and say, "Oh, your student has been issued a stage 1 disciplinary for not attending classes." So just now you mentioned about the attendance, right?
Yes.
So attendance is very important to us. If the students do not attend a class for less than 95%, then it would trigger alarm bells, and we would ask
Something's
the student.
going on.
Something's
wrong.
going on. Yes,
Whether
correct.
that's good or like intentional or not, something's going on.
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned the intentional, because not all students, they want to skip classes, right?
No.
So
I
there
hope
was
not.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine
right.
not.
Yeah. So there was one instance where we found the school found out that this boy has been like late for class, because once you are late for like 15 minutes, you are considered absent. Yeah, so this boy kept going to the class like late.
Later than
And
15, basically.
Yes, yeah. And then the school actually pulled the boy aside, and during the personal tutor time, they asked the boy like, why are you always late? Because you are a very good boy. You know, your exam results are amazing. Then we found out that this boy is late because he has been helping another boy in his schoolwork, prior to the class. So, we thought that, okay, he's doing something really nice. So we actually pull back the disciplinary, but we tell the boy that you have to be punctual, right? Because, you cannot be late for your classes.
Right.
So there are circumstances where we, try and...
Good intentions,
Yes.
but unfortunately, couldn't really manage it at
Yeah,
the time. Right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
good to hear. I'm sure if there's a valid sort of reason, then
Yeah.
you guys will have a look at it before actually giving out any sort of, I guess, disciplinary warning or whatnot.
Yes.
But 5 stages, so you get 4 chances or 5th chance, or is the 5th one gone?
Yeah, the 5th one is gone.
I
yeah.
see. So 4 chances, basically.
4 chances, yeah.
I see. But stern warnings, I'm sure. And you guys let the parents know about it.
Yes.
Let the agent know about it.
Yes.
And you yourself will know about it as well.
Yes.
So I'm sure students, will get through it. There's people all around looking, make sure everything's in place. They really can't hide or anything like that.
No, yeah. So I mean, touch wood. Like so far, we haven't got any students from my region. My responsibility that has been expelled, because usually students they are not intentional. They don't want to be expelled. For whatever reasons. Yeah.
That's good to know. There's at least some sort of monitoring sort of in place, so parents will know that they are in good hands.
Yeah.
They're not just letting them roam free and studying and that's it.
As a school representative, do you meet any interesting cases or any weird cases?
Oh.
Please let us know. Or maybe any questions you might hear more often or whatnot. Maybe we have audience that is probably already thinking about already, and you can maybe even answer them here now, which is make things a lot easier. It's interesting. But just if you can share some of maybe your experience about any particular students or families you've encountered, anything like that'd be great.
Even in application process or something like this.
Anything to watch out for, anything like that.
Yeah.
Any tips and hints or like things that to really pay attention to, I guess.
Yeah. So I think for me, I usually I will meet students or parents at education fair. So that's the first point of contact. But otherwise, I don't really talk to students or parents because they come through via the agent like yourself, right? So they will talk to you first, and then you will pass the inquiries to me, and then I'll get to talk to them. So for me, when I talk to students or parents at education fair, I find a lot of them, they have this perception that they want to go to a university to do a foundation program, because nowadays you can do university foundation at university. So for me, I would actually discourage that. This is my personal opinion, obviously. You might agree or you might disagree with me. So for me, I think it's better for young students not to go to university to do their foundation. I think it's better for them to come to places like us as a school, because we can look after the students really well. So that's the first point. And the second point is that when you go to a university to do your foundation, you are usually mixing with much older students because of that university environment and the setup.
It is a bigger demographic
Yeah.
in terms of student sort of, I guess, population.
Correct, yeah. So from the parents' point of view, I think is much more risky in a way, because your child, your daughter or your son are mixing with other students, because there's no kind of stopping the students, right, to mix with older. So you might get, misled, or you might get influenced by different people and things like that. Right. Whereas if they come to us, our oldest age will be 19, 18 or 19. So the age range is quite... is still acceptable in that sense. And also the good thing about our school is that we don't have any other students from any other schools living with us. So basically what the good point about that is that we can actually manage the behavior of the students. So for example, if your son or your daughter come to us, and if they mix with A, who is a bad influence and things like that, then we can talk to A. But if another school, for example, they have students from different schools or universities staying in their accommodation, then you cannot actually act on A. You need to contact the school or the universities and tell them about A's behavior, and then hopefully the school or the universities will act on A's behavior. So the the handling of the issues will take a longer route because you need to go via another third party, for example, right?
Yeah.
So that is the good thing about studying with us is that we have total responsibility and total control of our students' behavior. So that's why I think if you are sending your children which are below the age of 18, usually that's the case when they come to us, then our environment would suit the students better than if they go to a university, for example.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for the tidbits and also for any of the, I guess more personal views as well about sort of, more of a route, the options that students can take as well. I'm sure there's a lot of information on the internet as well, so if they want to find, there's a lot of that, and they can also come to us or meet you guys like at the fairs and whatnot to get more information. There's just so much right now, and having to know like what options there are, it's very valuable, and it's just a matter of weighing that option, what suits yourself or even your children a bit more. That's really the main thing, and we'll be here to give that advice, I guess.
Yeah.
That's great. So is there any particular, stories you want to say, or maybe any hints about living in those campuses that students might want to hear? Maybe like the better place to go to a restaurant or things like that, more convenient for them to find some of their home cookings or cuisines so they don't get too homesick. Any advice in that sort of regards? Do all the campuses have, like Asian groceries around them, or like Asian restaurants that you can visit, or is it very close by?
But the boarding will include the 3 meals per day, right?
Yes, yeah. So our boarding, we give the students the breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Of course.
For Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And even on Saturday also, they have brunch and dinner on Saturday as well.
Right.
So they don't really need to, but sometimes obviously, when you're with your friends, you want to go out and things like that.
Yeah.
So Saturday and Sunday, there are no classes. So students can do whatever they want. Obviously, there is a curfew, so they need to be back at a certain time and things like that. So usually Saturday and Sunday, students will go and do their activities like they play sports or they swim and things like that. Some students might go to the cinema, or they might go out to shopping, or if they live in Cambridge, it's only 1 hour to London, they might take the train to London. So there's a lot of activities they do, and I think the UK as a whole is so cosmopolitan now. Like every single city that you go to, there's always an Asian grocer, or even the local supermarkets like the Sainsbury's or the Tesco's. They also have Asian section where they sell a lot of Asian food. Even Marks and Spencer's, I noticed now they do the microwave food. It's like Thai curry rice or Penang laksa.
Is it good though? Is it passable?
It's almost authentic, but obviously they don't have the special ingredients like the like the cockles or the tofu pork or whatever. Right?
So specific, even Penang curry laksa.
Yeah, they have it. Yeah, it's amazing. I was like, wow, But I did try it, and it's kind of like not exactly the same, right? Yeah,
no.
But there are Chinatown, for example, in London, that you can go and have Malaysian food. There's a lot of Malaysian restaurants now, even in smaller cities,
right,
that you can go and try. And also the other thing is that occasionally our school will organize events. So they might organize, like for Chinese New Year, they might organize a Chinese New Year dinner, or they ask our students to organize their own events. So for example, like if you're Malaysian, you might organize National Day celebration. So you would do the food, or you would tell people like, okay, these are the food that you can prepare and things like that.
A lot of different cultural sort of exchanges and experiences that you can share with the other peers of yours about your home sort of country and what you do and what food you eat.
Yeah. So and students will not get bored because our school is very close to the city center. Right. So for example, like London is right in the city center, so you are within walking distance to a lot of things. But even Cambridge is about 5 to 10 minutes walk to the city center. Canterbury is again 5 minutes walk to the city center. So all our schools within walking distance to the city center, where you can do your shops, your eating out, your banking, whatever that you need to do on the weekends.
Actually, speaking of that, I think like a lot of students could be first time going there. Do you guys show them the way, like how to take the train, how to open a bank? Do you do all of those things? Is it within the first week? It's like an orientation thing?
Orientation week, yeah, that's right. So for example, like this year, our first day of school is on the 2nd of September, which is a Monday. So usually the arrival times will be on Saturday and Sunday. So the 31st of August and the 1st of September will be the arrival. So once they arrive, they will check into their accommodation, and then the boarding masters or the head of boarding will come and meet the students to make sure that they settle in nicely and everything.
Right.
The other thing I want to mention is that you don't need to bring any pillows or anything. Everything is all provided in our boarding.
It sounds like you've encountered a lot of
Yeah.
students that bring their own. Is
Yeah,
that right?
yeah. Sometimes they do, like their own pet, like, huggable, like
I
pet
see.
things that they want to bring with them and all that. But all the necessities is all included in the room, so you don't have to worry. Yeah.
Right.
And then during that orientation, usually we will introduce the students. There may be a buddy system where we pair them with an older student who's really been there for a year.
Right.
So that person can show the new students around the campus, and then we will tell them about the opening of a bank account. Usually we will take them on a walk around the school and then take them for a walk to the city center, show them the safer way or, the best way, for example.
Right.
Tell them where the train station is and things like that. So we kind of teach them everything on
Like
that
a
first week.
small day trip.
Yeah, like a small day trip. Yeah.
To get familiar around the area, having a buddy. Is the buddy system, how do you guys pair it? Is it just same nationality, or do they speak the same language? Is that how it is, or just more of a local student, depending on obviously which school you go to?
So no, we don't try to mix the student if they are from the same country, because we want them to mix. So for example, because our accommodation, we have the single room or we have the twin room.
Yeah.
So usually if it's a twin room, then we always pair them with different nationals.
Yes.
So they get a good experience.
So they speak English.
Yeah.
That
And
is
also
right.
we don't want them to like mix with their, like home friends all the time, right? We want
Right,
them to
right.
mingle and mix friends.
Yeah, that's the whole purpose of going out to a different country. You speak English, you learn different cultures, not your own.
Yes. Yeah.
It makes a more valuable experience, I'm sure.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Wonderful. I guess that's it from us, and thank you so much again, Raymond, for sharing a bit of, I guess, some of the things that students get to experience, when they do get over there, even beforehand. And if they are interested, obviously there's a lot of ways to do it, like the taste test, whatnot, going there a bit earlier, really helps make that transition a bit smoother. If they are going to continue that on, that journey, they're studying in the UK or even overseas. But yeah, once again, thank you so much for your time
Thank
and for
you.
sharing with us. Thank you.
So that's all for this video. So anything you want to know, please comment below to let us know.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.